Barkey J Dog here with another movie review. For me, the first Batman movie is still the best. Tim Burton just got so much right, and I loved Jack Nicholson as the Joker. That was some real stunt casting, and it paid off. At the time, when Michael Keaton was announced as the new Batman, people were not convinced, but he turned out great. Overall, it was a real achievement. The second installment, Batman Returns, is also quite good, albeit not quite as good as the first one. Tim Burton doesn't like doing sequels, but he turned in a good movie. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman was awesome, and Danny DeVito was good for the Penguin. But perhaps DeVito went too far, or at least the script did. Looking back, his character was a little too salacious, and the studio took notice. They didn't want any more of that kind of thing, and wanted a lighter take on the Batman. Something more marketable and kid-friendly. Burton agreed to produce a third Bat movie, but they wouldn't let him direct it. The studio got Joel Schumacher to direct instead, and he was told to lighten things up. Michael Keaton didn't like the new approach, so he decided to hang up the cape and cowl, which is too bad. Instead, Val Kilmer was cast. They chose some supervillains and a dash of neon lighting, and the result was 1995's Batman Forever. Now, to be fair, Schumacher really did want to make a dark, serious Batman movie, but the studio wasn't having any of that, so he went more goofy. A little more in the Adam West style. Even so, I think he did what he could. The film looks great, and I think they successfully married the Burton elements in with the new approach. So there's more humor and more color in Batman Forever, and it definitely has a comic book feel, which is missing from the Nolan-verse. Nolan's take on Batman has gotten high praise, and rightfully so, but he insisted on grounding his Batman movies in the real world, which isn't my cup of tea for a superhero picture. You need a little element of wonder and fun, something larger than life and all that, which Burton brought to the 1989 movie and Richard Donner brought to his first two Superman pictures. Anyway, Batman Forever rubbed some Dark Knight Bat fans the wrong way, even though it was a good picture. Kilmer looks great, and his Bruce Wayne is good too, albeit not quite as brooding as Wayne probably ought to be. Furthermore, they added Dick Grayson to the mix, which some Bat fans felt was not in keeping with the serious Dark Knight. Chris O'Donnell plays Robin, and while some fans hated him, to be honest, it didn't bother me, although he really is too old to be Robin. He's like 25 here, while Robin was originally much younger in the comics. One problem with the movie is that the humor can be a bit overdone. Characters spout dopey dialogue in between more serious moments, and it doesn't always fit. But again, that just makes it feel like a comic book. Here, Batman battles both Two-Face and the Riddler. This is something I kinda hated, starting with Batman Returns, in which they keep packing in more and more villains, instead of just letting Batman fight one at a time. To me, that minimizes the threat each villain represents, and the last picture, Batman and Robin, has this problem in spades. Tommy Lee Jones is Two-Face, and he's just having fun here, chewing up the scenery. It seemed to me he was in everything in the 90s, so he was a big name they could cast. He's okay as a very cartoony Two-Face. The costume and makeup are interesting too. They don't do much with him though. He's basically just a second banana bad guy here, so a wasted opportunity. If Jack Nicholson was one of the best things about the 1989 Batman, Jim Carrey as the Riddler is one of the best things about this movie. Burton was going to cast Robin Williams, but didn't get the chance. In retrospect, Williams could have been interesting as the Riddler, but I think he'd made a much better toy man. Carrey brings a manic zaniness to the role. It's like he was born to play the Riddler since Frank Gorshin wasn't available. Seriously, Frank Gorshin is the best Riddler ever. But I love Carrey here. He's got a lot of style and energy, and you buy his turn to super villainry. Nicole Kidman appears as a sexy psychiatrist and love interest for Batman, and both Michael Gough and Pat Hingle return to play Alfred and Commissioner Gordon. This was a fairly troubled production. Val Kilmer had a falling out with Schumacher, which meant he had not returned for another outing as Batman. And Tommy Lee Jones did not get along with Jim Carrey, taking several opportunities to run Carrey down and tell Carrey he didn't think much of his work. Kilmer and Carrey got along very well, though. Anyway, in the final analysis, Batman Forever is a fun bat romp. Sure, it's a little campy, but it does live up to the comics, at least the lighter 1950s comics. It's not as bad as you may have been led to believe. True, it's not as dark as the 1989 Batman or the Nolan-verse Batman, but it's nowhere near as dopey as the George Clooney movie that followed. It has a great look, and it's a logical extension of the Burton movies. A little dopier, but not too dopey. And Jim Carrey's Riddler is just fantastic. As for a score, I'm a little torn here. It isn't as good as the previous Bat movies, but it's not as bad as Batman and Robin. I'm going to give it 3 paws up. Carrey's performance is well worth seeing, and Kilmer's Batman is good too. The movie is on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, Amazon Prime. It's everywhere, so you can find it. Be sure to check it out. Well, that's all I've got for you this time. You be sure and take care of yourself, okay? And I'll be back with something else soon. So be sure to give me a like and leave some comments and ring the thing and fling the bling and all the stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Oh, Yvonne Craig, I'll love you forever. What a bat babe.